I liked the language that you used when you were talking about prose, in particular, sort of the importance of kind of crafting a narrative and also creating an image for media. And one of the things that I noticed, sort of looking at some of that news footage, was how at many of these demonstrations there were just like really powerful images that seem to have been constructed, intentionally for the media. Is that, I mean, like how much organization was there behind sort of what people brought to these demonstrations, and how much of it was sort of more self-organized?
Well, we had what we call affinity groups within the larger membership. And this was a way for small groups of friends and like-minded individuals within the larger membership to plan for what they were going to do in these large demonstrations, like the one we did at the FDA or the one that we did at the NIH. And it kind of allowed a great deal of creativity, so that there could be multiple visuals at the larger demonstration, which might last half a day or even a day, like the FDA did. And I think all the affinity groups, it almost created a competitive thing of, who's going to get the visual that ends up on the nightly news. But there were some actions that the larger group would discuss the primary visuals. For instance, at the NIH demonstration, and you see quickly in How to Survive a Plague, you see all these multicolored smoke grenades. I mean,
Yes.
we invade the Building 1 at the NIH as we march on it. And we debated that, and that visual I take credit for it. It was from my affinity group called the Power Tools, and this was right when some newspapers around the country were just beginning to buy color printers. Prior to 1990, all newspapers were just black and white, printed black and white. And then they all started getting color printers, but they were very expensive, so they would only use them for the cover of the newspaper or the cover of each section. Even the New York Times still does this. You'll see some internal pages are just black and white, and they use colors selectively. So all these newspapers around the country, if you gave them a picture that had lots of color in it, you had a chance of getting on the cover. So we said, have these military smoke grenades, which we got in one of those gun magazines, and they were Israeli surplus smoke grenades. And we got one of each color, and we put them on the end of long poles and set them off, and it was just a gorgeous visual. It looked very dramatic and dangerous, but it was very safe. And it was all just so we could get on the front covers of papers, and it worked. We got on the cover of the Baltimore Sun. It worked. So.